Drop it.
21st of July, 2023.
A date which will live in infamy.
Barbenheimer Day. We knew for over a year that these two films were going to be released on the same day, and it just sort of seemed weird that the child-friendly, colourful film about a doll versus the very serious, very real story of developing the worst weapon in human history, one of the worst things ever devised. And it eventually became a bit of a meme. Barbenheimer, the portmanteau. And on opening night, I went to go see both of them. So let's just give thoughts on that. There's a bit of a discussion like which one you're going to watch first. Like, a lot of people say they're going to watch Oppenheimer first before watching Barbie. You know, have your serious stuff, eat your greens, then end on a high note. Personally, I chose to see Barbie first because what I heard from Oppenheimer, I kind of needed to, well, I don't think I could have watched anything that less serious after watching that. I'll still be thinking about Oppenheimer. But yeah, I watched Barbie first. Personally, I think that's the better option. Overall, I thought it was all right. Yeah, pretty good. I didn't expect it to go where it did. Going to give some light spoilers here. The Barbies, one Barbie in particular, Margot Robbie's Barbie, sort of, suffering existential crisis and cellulite. Oh wow, she is literally me. But then she has to go to the real world and help to resolve all this. So, just the general stuff. You also get Ryan Gosling as Ken, which he does a pretty good Ken. Margot Robbie does a pretty good Barbie as well. But it's also a bit more mature than I thought it would be. I thought it would be just a very focus on kid, like very kid friendly. But 12A rating. Okay, that's a bit strange. That jokes about the patriarchy and things like that. I just thought that was pretty well done, pretty funny. That sort of social commentary that I think will go over a lot of kids' heads, but a lot of adults watching, they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah. Also, Barbie flat out says that she doesn't have a vagina and Ken doesn't have a penis, which is good lore information to know. Didn't think I'd see that in a kid's film. And I felt that the end message was like a heartfelt one, that it sort of had the message of don't let society tell you what you are, or don't let someone else define who you are. Like, Ken's suffering this, that he feels like he can't be anything without Barbie, and finally finds meaning when he discovers what patriarchy is and what masculinity is, and discovering that it doesn't necessarily have to involve horses. That was that was quite funny. But Barbie also realising that she doesn't have to be exactly what she is, and I think at the end she becomes human, I think. I mean, she goes to see a gynecologist afterwards, so, I mean, does she have genitals? But the general message that's put out to everyone is saying that don't let society or other people tell you who you have to be. And I think that's a very important message, not only for kids, but for adults as well. And I think it was done pretty concisely. Must admit, if I watched this film normally, I wouldn't have watched it in the cinema. Like, even though it was a 12A, you still had like children and that, like some screaming toddler just decided to do a runner in the middle aisle and just started to cry near the end of it. Like, that's one of the reasons I don't really like cinemas, like children and that. But no, overall, I thought it was silly, satirical, but heartfelt, and overall a good film. Then afterwards we saw Oppenheimer, which for a 3-hour film, it really didn't feel it. It flew by. It was very fast-paced, very dense, very intense. I'm just going into a bit of spoilers, but I'm not sure how spoilery they're going to be. It's based on like history. You could just, pick up a book or something. But the story of the making of the atomic bomb, but it wasn't really about that. It was about Oppenheimer. It was about the man himself, like going from his student life to his later life, and how he made advancements in quantum mechanics and helped to develop the theory and the ultimate development of the atomic bomb during World War II, and his later conflicts and sort of clashes with people. Like, he sees this weapon of mass destruction that he helped to make, and everyone's saying that he's the father of the atomic bomb. He's burdening all that responsibility, and he really doesn't like that. Just listening to some interviews beforehand, that during the development of the atomic bomb, there was this one sentiment of if they build this bomb, no one else is going to be going to war because they see the massive destructive power of this bomb. But as we know, that didn't happen. Everyone keeps building bigger bombs and threatening each other with with the Cold War. Yeah, that's something that Oppenheimer and a lot of these scientists I really didn't like, and it delves into his personal life, like his sort of like personal misgivings, his political tensions. Being a suspected communist, definite no back then, but. Hey, a lot of scientists were suspected communists, which doesn't actually mean anything considering McCarthyism. Like anyone who doesn't agree with you is a communist, and that's what led to his revocation of his security license. But yeah, overall with the film, I think Christopher Nolan did a really good job of this. I would say it's probably one of his best ones, definitely in the top 5. And for a film where it's mainly just men in rooms talking, it's pretty engaging. Alright, definite spoilers here, but there are 2 scenes that really stuck out to me. Shortly after the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Oppenheimer gave his speech to everyone about like, oh, we used this bomb, it was successful, just regret it, didn't have to, we never got to use it against the Germans. But then during that, we see his sort of like, his sort of maybe not hallucinations, but his perspective, his imagination, like thinking about the horrors and the damage that his bomb caused. And the acting from Cillian Murphy and this, the whole film was great, but in this scene was just very much like, I need to build this picture, I need to put up this front, but he's also thinking about, oh, what have I done? What have I done? Then you start seeing all these different things, like someone in the audience with their skin being flayed off, a charred corpse, and like, all these people dying from radiation sickness and burns, and it was horrible, and it was just visceral. Just the editing, the sound mix, the acting, the cinematography, especially like the shallow depth of field where in slow motion where he's sort of like trying to breathe in, like, okay, the speech is over, and that editing, that smash from silence to just bang, people cheering, that's sort of visceral. I mean, if any cinematic experience, that's probably one of the more like emotionally intense things I've seen, to be honest. And another one was near the end where he was being like grilled and questioned about his stance on the atomic bomb, whether it should be used or whether it shouldn't, and again, that was another example where it just was so visceral, but it really puts you into the perspective of this character. Where Dunkirk was mainly just focusing on the event with all these different people, just sort of like building like the perspective of the event. This is the view of a single person going through history, and we don't see a lot of like the bomb. We see like the big Trinity test, but we don't see the bombs of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, but we don't need to. Like, it's his story, and we've seen it through his perspective mainly. But yeah, overall, I feel it's a fantastic film. Fantastic. Like, Barbie's good, Oppenheimer's fantastic, and the whole Barbenheimer thing. Yeah, it's probably like a fluke, like a flash in the pan, and it's not really something that any studio can really do. Like 2 different films having to be the polar opposites, being released on the same day. I mean, we saw it with Mamma Mia and The Dark Knight being released on the same day. You know, another Christopher Nolan film with another blonde woman lead. So yeah, this probably won't happen again until the summer of 2038, so stay tuned. But no, I'm just glad that this thing wasn't just like Barbie versus Oppenheimer. It was both. Like, why not watch both? Like it, and because it could have easily devolved into like a conflict, sort of no, this film's better. No, this film's better. I'm going to watch. No, I'm going to watch this one. Because why not watch both? Why not watch both? This says a lot about our society that we decide to put aside our differences and just enjoy stuff. Which, no, I like that, I really do. And I'm glad I saw both. I'm glad I live in a world where both these films exist, much like how I'm glad that you exist. Click like if you exist. So what about all of you? Have you seen Barbie or Oppenheimer? Have you seen both? What do you think of them? Please let me know down below. And yeah, thank you for joining me, and I'll see you later.